Welcome to Disabled Expectations. When you're a dad raising a child with a disability, nothing is as you planned. These are the raw, honest stories of dads whose lives changed the day they heard a diagnosis and who continue to show up, adapt, and fight for their families every day. This isn't about lowering expectations, it's about redefining them. I'm Andy, and this is Disabled Expectations. Well, thanks for joining us today. This is Disabled Expectations, and I have a good one today. I've got my man Collin with me. He's got 3 dogs, which I think is a lot. But Collin, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
We met through Certain Hope Community. I think the first time we met was at High Point Farm, and got to see your crew and just to kind of hit it off ever since. So it's been great to get to know you. And you came to, a couple dad events, teach us all how to golf. You're like expert at everything. So that's always fun. A little competitiveness. I like it.
Pretty good at paintball. Paintball was tough for me, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think that was tough for everybody. It was like, I got so many texts that were like, I'm still sore. Is that okay? It's like, yes, because I am. So it's good that you're sore, but
right.
Well, let's get right into it. Kick it off and tell us about your crew, just kind of in general, and then I'll ask you some questions along the way. I really like to interrupt people, so expect that.
Okay. Yeah. I've got 3 dogs. One of them's behind me there, Ollie. And my wife, Amber, we've been married, do the math now, since 7 years,
Okay.
7-8 years. Struggling on the math. I should know that.
Oh, man. I love this part. This is so good.
I'm a little nervous for the podcast, honestly. So yeah, we've been married for a while now, and have my daughter Palmer. She is 6. I'm confident in that, and Lucas, who's 4. So 2 kids, and we live in Rockford. We were down in Byron Center for a little bit, moved up to Rockford, and we love it up here, and that's kind of our family.
Yeah, where'd you meet your wife?
We met on a blind date.
Whoa!
We grew up in the same town, knew a lot of the same people. We were pretty positive in college that we went to some of the same parties, like just friends of friends. Like, it's like, how did we never run into each other? But yeah, after college, one of her family friends is good friends with one of my family friends, and we go to the same college football team at Michigan State. And they set us up. She had been mentioning it for a while, like, oh, you need to go meet this girl. You need to meet her. And then I don't know how long passed, but they finally gave me her number, and I reached out, and we met on a blind date. So
wow, you don't hear that too much. I think that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How long did you guys date for then?
A year and a half ish, maybe a little longer than that before we were married. So not a crazy long time. I think we met in January and got married the end of the following year. So
okay. Great. What did you guys talk about how many kids you wanted before you got married, or was that something that kind of came up after?
Yeah, Amber wanted, I can't remember what number she landed on, but it was a lot of kids. So I think I had conceded where we were going to go with 3. That was okay. 3 is my final number, and I think she still thought 4 would be where we would get to.
Yes.
So she wanted to have a lot of kids, and then Palmer was born 6 weeks early. Lucas was actually born 10 weeks early, and he was in the NICU for almost 70 days. So at that
Wow.
point we were like, we're headed the wrong direction, and we decided that that was it. So, you know, kind
How
of a
long did
bummer.
you, how early did you say Lucas was born?
10 weeks.
10 weeks.
So he
Okay.
was like, yeah, he was like 3.5 pounds. And yeah, it was everything they could to try to prevent, you know, him, because Palmer was early. They were just trying to, whatever they could. I can't remember all the different things that went into it, but yeah, he was 10 weeks early and spent close to 70 days in the NICU during COVID. So that was
Wow.
rough. Where, you know, no family allowed, just Amber and I. You know, Palmer couldn't go, and
Oh
was,
my gosh.
mm.
Yeah, that makes me have so many questions for you. Like just hearing those little details. Were you guys in Grand Rapids at the time?
Yep,
Or
we were in Byron Center.
where you are now?
Well, so we're in Rockford now, but we were in Byron Center at that time.
Okay. So everything was at DeVos or Corwell,
Yep.
whatever they're calling it nowadays.
Yep, at DeVos.
Okay. So let's get into Palmer. So she's 6 years old, you said?
Yes.
Palmer's
So
got I think Palmer has like the best, most contagious smile. Like it just it melts a heart from wherever. You guys were just roller skating with us, and there's a picture that someone got, and it's like Amber's got a huge smile, and she's got Palmer's wheelchair, and then Palmer's got like the world's biggest smile, and then she's like, you know, getting Lucas somehow, but Lucas is there, he's got his helmet on. It's just like the best. I love it. So much
Yeah,
joy.
she's lost a couple of teeth now, so she's missing her front teeth, but yeah, she's still got the big smile, and yeah, everywhere we go, people point that out, and, you know, her smile, and she can just light up.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. So 6 weeks early. What did you know anything was up with her, or was it pretty typical?
No. Pretty typical. So yeah, she was 6 weeks early, and everything we knew at that time, she was in the NICU for a week. Everything we knew at that time was good to go. Everything's great. Everything looks great. You know, we had to do the tube through the nose thing for some feedings, but I think we took it out real quick when we got home. But yeah, from there, everything was fine. And we, you know, going through her 1 month appointment, 2 month appointment. It wasn't until her 3 month appointment where they started asking some questions about milestones and is she reaching for things.
Okay.
Gotcha. I can't remember rolling over, stuff like that. You know, it's like, is she starting to do that? And they noticed. So there's a couple of things. She had to get fitted for a helmet at that time because she wasn't like starting to roll over. And then they wanted to do a scan as well. They just had a lot of different questions that wasn't really following. Amber was picking up on what they were getting at. She was pretty positive they were asking questions about cerebral palsy, and which we had at that point. We were like, no, like we didn't think that was, everything seems fine. And there were probably some things we missed, you know, it being a first child. And, you know, we put out like, oh yeah, she's really tight. Like she's like fighting, trying to change her diaper. And, you know, we're looking back, it's like a lot of the things were pretty clear knowing what we know now. But, but yeah, so it was I think right around 4 months old when we finally got the diagnosis of, so she has bilateral open lip schizencephaly is her diagnosis. So hadn't heard of it before, and they told nobody, like, it's super rare. I think it's she wears number 65 in hockey. So it's 1 in 65,000.
Oh, that's so cool.
Kids have the diagnosis, which I think the number's actually up. My mother-in-law was talking about it the other day. I don't know what the number's gone up to, but it's very rare. haven't really come across any other people that have that diagnosis. And
Yeah.
they kind of told us when she got the diagnosis that just tell people she has her secondary diagnosis, because they'll understand what that is. They'll understand what cerebral palsy is. She has spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy.
Okay.
So,
yeah, a little more common to the average Joe, CP for
right.
sure. So what was that like? Do you remember when they gave you the diagnosis? Do you remember kind of that day or anything?
Yeah. It all kind of blends together a little bit in multiple. I can remember thinking about it. I feel like it's one moment, but I think it's like 3 or 4 moments combined together. Because we got the call, I think we were at a Jimmy John's in Byron Center driving home, and we got the diagnosis, but we had no clue what that meant. Weren't really sure. We knew we had some ideas, but we didn't know exactly what it meant. And then we actually went in, and one of the doctors there talked to a lot of doctors, and I forget what all their official titles are, but the one doctor kind of explained it all. And I remember, the thing I remember the most is I wasn't a huge fan of her, but she said, "I'm sorry that you had to meet me." And that was like, okay, this is real, and it's not, this isn't great. This is serious. And I think that's kind of when it became like really real. And then the other moment I remember is getting back, and like Amber's parents were over at our house and kind of being like, so like we still were just in shock from hearing the news and everything. And
for sure,
it's just kind of trying to understand what it all meant, because even when they were talking to us, they didn't know what it meant. The diagnosis between both of them, it can be like it can be very severe or very minimal. So there's just a wide range of I don't want to say side effects, but a wide range of abilities that you can have with those diagnoses. So
so
I remember
they told you over the phone for that was your first. They said, here's what your daughter has.
Yep.
Through a phone call.
Yep. And then we went and got more information from them, and they showed us her brain scan and everything. And still, even that wasn't, didn't really give us the whole story. But I remember one other doctor in there who I did like. I like that guy because he feel like he was he kind of gave it to a great. He basically told us, you're going to hear a lot of different opinions here. It's like, if anybody tells you definitively what she can or can't do, they're wrong. He's like, he swore. I can't remember exactly what he said, but they're lying to you. So he's like, just understand that nobody knows.
For sure.
And so it was nice to hear that, like, okay, I feel like he's telling us the truth, but they just don't know what our life is going to look like and what her life is going to look like. So
so how does that?
It was tough to digest it all.
Oh my gosh, for sure. I was gonna try and repeat what she has, but I can't. So how does that play out? What are some of the anomalies that come with that now that you've got 6 years under your belt? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah. So it's bilateral open lip schizencephaly. So it's on both sides of her brain. She has clefts.
Okay.
And so it's on both sides, where it can be on one side, which is less severe. And then open lip is worse than closed lip. So it's just clefts in her brain. But really it is, they're not wrong saying that most of what people would notice would be consistent with spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy. She has a ton of tone, and she's fighting through that tone. So she can't really control her legs, her arms, and she just gets really, really tight. So causes issues with, with swallowing. So she can eat on her own. She can drink on her own. But it's very difficult. So it just takes her a
Okay.
little bit of time. And as far as speaking goes, when she was really young, like we heard her say, every couple of months we would hear her say a word or two. And then like
Oh,
at somewhere along the lines, it stopped. And like, I mean, I remember, so we were still in Byron Center. So she had to have been like 1.5. And she was watching the Muppet Babies and she said animal. It was her, her favorite character. And, but yeah,
wow.
so as far as speech goes, we haven't heard much. She's very talkative. She'll let you know. She'll let you
Yeah.
know. She'll squeal and make a lot of sounds, and you know what she's getting at. And um,
Right.
she's very well aware of everything that's going on around her. Just tries to kind of relay that information. So I'm trying to think. The
What?
schizencephaly part, I don't even know what parts what, like
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
schizencephaly part would be different than the cerebral palsy. But I do know that she hasn't had seizures or anything like that. And I think that is a piece that's more schizencephaly aspect. I may be wrong there, but
Okay.
that's my understanding of it. And so luckily we haven't had to deal with any seizures or anything like that. But that was something that was something we needed to look out for and be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What is the main way then she communicates with you? Does she have an eye gaze or talker or
She does. She has a talker. She doesn't use it a whole lot. We're hoping that's more down the line. She brings it to school.
yeah.
She has it at home, but I just feel like there's always so much going on, and she's looking elsewhere. She something gets her attention. There's another kid right there. Lucas is trying to get in there. It
Yeah.
was so she has that, but really, I mean, she's like I said, she's very vocal. Even though she doesn't say words to us, she'll let us know if she does not like something. She'll let us know if she loves something.
Right.
That last night she was at a study for her wheelchair to she can move it around and drive it around, working on
Oh,
studying
yeah.
right now. And they have some students there that she loves, and she's just like she's talking to them the whole time,
Yes.
and it was incredible. I like, did she do this at school? Like, I mean, she was very vocal and very excited to be there with them. So, like I said, she as much as she's not using words to talk to us, she's using her eyes, she's using her smile, she's
Right.
using any noises she can make to let us know how she feels.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that.
Mhm.
How do you feel like she gets along with her brother?
She loves him. She like he's. I think uh, he's working like his comedy routine to try to get her to laugh, and he's very playful with her, and just sometimes you have to. Oh, you can't protect herself, so you can't jump on her and hit her in the head, or like she's not gonna
Right.
like put her hands up and brace. So you have to be a little careful because he's bumped her in the head a couple times,
Yeah.
but yeah, she loves being around him. I'm excited to watch him grow and continue to take care of her and be a good brother to her because he will help out a lot, but he's full, so he's
Sure.
getting there and she loves being around him and laughs and laughs at everything he does.
Gotcha. I like that. So you said she had an NG tube in the NICU, which,
Mhm.
that's always a fun thing, right? Trying to shove that down. She
Mhm.
Does she still have that, or does she have a G tube now, or is she mostly eat through mouth?
So she had the NG tube not for very long, um, out of the NICU, and then we went years without it. But she had a
Okay.
surgery in May, like a very intense surgery. They said it said she'd be back to 90% in 3 months from last May. So they broke both of her
Wow.
legs, realigned to get her hips back into place, and they
Wow.
carve out one hip socket and cut some muscles. And so it was, yeah, very,
Dude.
very, and she like, yeah, it was, she just would say she's maybe at 90% now, and she's starting to weight bear, and you can see her start to kick her feet too, which is pretty awesome. But
Whoa.
so after that, she dropped a ton of weight. She just wasn't, I was just irritated and pain, you know, no matter, and we were giving her the medication and everything, but I think she could
Yeah.
control, I don't want to drink, I don't want to eat, like, and so she lost a bunch of weight. So we always kind of knew maybe we were headed towards the G2,
Right.
and it was helpful not just for her but for our family. Like, I know, kind of felt maybe a little selfish that it was saving us some time to have the G2, but it's like, does she want to be drinking all day because it takes a long time, and does
Yeah.
she want to be eating all day? So it kind of, we knew we were always kind of headed that direction as you needed more and more calories, but the surgery pushed us to like, well, we have to do something, because they did, before school started, so maybe in August, they did put the NG tube back in, but
Okay.
she hated that. It irritated her throat, her nose, and she
Yeah.
started, she kind of threw up a lot from it. She was like intentionally trying to get it out. So,
Okay. Wow.
but so then I think it was in December, maybe this, yeah, that sounds right. December, she, got the G put in. Things have been going great, with that. She just needed to kind of settle in a little bit. You can see her kind of being like, this feels funny,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's nice because at school she can get her calories. You know, we give her some in the morning. She can eat at school. Then we can just ensure that she gets her calories, her medicine. Because yeah, if she ever gets sick, giving her medicine can be a
Right.
hassle. She
Yeah.
just won't take it. So
I can
that's been
totally
a
relate to
huge
that. Yeah.
lifesaver. Hmm.
Yeah. We were kind of in the same mindset, I guess you could say. Like, we were like hesitant to get the G tube. We weren't
Hmm.
obviously like excited about it. And it scared me. I thought that was like the most like medical. I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I can't do a G tube. And you're laughing because
Right.
now, like, after you've done it for a week, you're like, okay, why we should
Mhm.
have, dang it, this is easy and it makes life
Right.
a lot better. Yeah, especially
Mhm.
medications. Yeah, for sure. Tell me
Yeah.
more about this surgery. I guess once you said it, I kind of remembered it, but dang, that's a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. That it was. I mean, it was pretty terrible. I mean, she's been through so much. Like, you know, and that one is just so far beyond anything she's had to go through. It was, you know, months of laying there with her kind of legs up with a pillow in between her legs, and you know,
Yeah.
she's still got some. I mean, she's always had some nasty scars on the side from it all, and yeah,
Oh, wow.
you know, for, you know, at the time, the, you know, little 30-pound little girl, she went through a lot. Um,
Man.
and like I said, I think we're finally at the point where it's like, and I was actually just 10, 15 or whatever, longer than 15 minutes ago, but half hour or so ago, I was just stretching with her on the floor, and you can see still like at times like, oop, stop that. But like being
Oh,
able to
okay.
bend her legs,
Yeah.
and you know, and like it took a very long time to get past that. And I think we're getting
Wow.
close to like kind of restarting weight bearing. And Amber pulled her the other night, and she was trying to get her feet kicking and walking a little bit. So we're
Okay.
hoping we can get her in a walker again soon, and
Wow.
let her build up some strength. But
How
she does
long
have
did that
another surgery.
surgery take?
She was there. It didn't take long, only a couple hours, but she was there quite a few days, and
Okay.
it was tough because then getting home, she was just in so much pain, and then just getting
Man.
her to her bed, and kinda all summer just laying around and recovering. So it was.
Wow.
It's something she'll have to do. So she has to get the metal taken out here in a couple months.
Oh,
But they assume it's something she'll have to go through again once she grows. And so maybe more like 12, 13, 14-ish range.
wow.
So they just kind of anticipate she'll have to do the same thing. So At least we
Wow.
know we know what it's like now. And we have plenty of time to
Yeah.
before that, but it's not looking forward to having to go through that again. But like I said, she's a trooper. She goes through so much. She gets Botox shots. She goes in there and
Yeah.
she don't like it. She hates the hospital, but she cries for a few minutes and then is done, ready to go. And she never forgets the doctors.
Really?
She knows exactly who they are and what they're about.
She's like locked
She's
in,
very
like
smart.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. So and she's got
Oh
their surgery
man.
coming up in a couple months. She's got a rhizotomy where I don't know if we have that officially scheduled, but she's gonna have it done a little less severe. It's not breaking bones or anything, but they're gonna
Yeah.
cut some nerves and stuff, and they want to do that before they take all the metal out. And
And what
so
is that?
she's
Is
not
that to
not out
help
of the
with the
woods with
tone?
surgeries. Sorry, what's that?
Is that neck surgery to help with like flexibility, tone, that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Or
so it's basically we've heard about it for years, and we've been told she's not a good candidate. She's a good candidate. She's not a good candidate, and by the same doctors, they've
yeah.
they've gone back and forth. And this time they told it to us like we hadn't heard about it. It's like, well, we've been pushing for this, but that one is to they can basically figure out which nerves are just constantly firing and try to and cut them. So it's like the concern is you can't go
Crazy.
back. Like so once they do it, they can't go back. So that's their main concern. But
This is
if they're
so
just constantly
wild.
firing, they're just getting in the way of her, you know, the ones that are trying to do what she's telling them to do. So
Yeah.
we've heard good things about it over the last few years. I guess we'll kind of just see how it goes. I mean, we think it's the right move, and just
Right.
relieving some tone, not just in her lower body, but if you get rid of all that tension there, maybe her hands will open up a little bit. She's not as tight.
Right.
So,
Right. For
um,
sure.
so yeah, we'll see. So she's
Man,
she's very busy.
hearing all that and then still picturing her smile is just like overwhelming. Like that is like
Mhm.
so awesome that she still is able to have so much joy, which makes me think too, like when I think of you and Amber, you guys seem to have a great just kind of perspective. You just have like a calm sense about you two. And I obviously I've never been in your house with you two, and I'm sure you have a perfect marriage and never fight or anything. But it seems like you guys have a lot of joy yourselves. Where does that come from? How did you guys keep that even going through all the different things in the last just 6 years?
I think it's been really hard to keep that, and it's been, like I said, it's been very tough. And I think over maybe the last, let's say for me personally, it took from the diagnosis, it took years to finally, like, I don't think come around is the wrong word, but like to, to kind of be like, okay, this is us. This is the normal. This is
Yeah,
what we're about. And like to kind of get into that space. It probably longer than Amber would have liked. Longer than I would have liked, longer than I'm proud of, I guess. But it was just really hard
for
um,
sure.
to go through and understand it all. Recalibrate everything, right? And
Man.
but uh, what was I going to say? But yeah, it's just over that course of time, things become more and more normal. Things become, just relatively things are I guess are different than they were a year ago, and you build on that. So I would say that just over time, growing to be more accepting, and I'm just speaking for myself here. Amber may have a different
For sure.
answer than me, but like I said, it was very difficult for me to accept how everything was happening and not know a lot of things. So I
Yeah.
would say Amber would agree with me. We actually did talk about this, but over the past year, 2 years, 3 years that I've, you know, things have been great. You know, I've gotten way better at, you know, being Palmer's dad, being Lucas's dad,
Yeah.
and just being present, you know, just accepting that this is us, and we have a, you know, a very happy, you know, daughter that lights up, like you said, lights up every room she goes in, and you
Yeah.
know, that's our goal, is just to make sure she's as happy as can be, and gets the best care that she can get, and yeah, also
Yeah.
with Lucas too, doing everything we can for him too.
Right. I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper if you don't mind. What were some of the I'm gonna ask anyways, that's the best part. Um you said it was really hard, which I can, relate to, probably better than the average person, but obviously not in your situation. So but give us a couple of things, like let's say, someone happens to listen to this podcast who doesn't have a child with disabilities. What would you say, like how would you kind of describe what was it that was so hard? Can you give some more detail into that?
The main thing, the main adjustment period for me was just sleeping. Uh,
Yeah.
huh. So I know for everyone, having a child, you know, sleeping, nighttime routines
Yeah.
can be difficult. But from 6 months, maybe even less onward, Palmer never took a nap, and getting her to sleep was uh, almost impossible. And
Wow.
we'd be in there with her for an hour. She'd fight it. She'd scream, and then you try to carry her to the crib. And if your knee cracked, she'd wake up and you'd start back over. Then you did her into bed. It was, she'd, you know, 30, 45 minutes later, she was screaming again. And
Yeah.
so I mean, it took 2-ish years maybe before, you know, where I don't know if she slept longer than an hour for those years. And so eventually
That,
she just slept in our bed. We moved her to our bed earlier than what I think they would say is appropriate, but it was,
yeah.
what are we gonna do?
You're out
So
of options. Yeah.
yeah, that was really the toughest part for me, and um, it's still not easy from a sleeping perspective, but again,
But for most
relative.
people, that's a season, right? Like you have a newborn, they don't sleep, and then they do.
Mhm,
And
right,
yeah, with our kids, they typically it's a struggle.
right. So, and that's the thing. Like, not even now, you know, things that would have frustrated me 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago, you know, like Palmer last night, we got her to bed, and, you know, an hour later she's crying, and we roll her over. She's like, "Is she good?" And
Yeah.
she's been really, really good with her. We got medications in check, everything that have helped her kind of adjust, and she gets the same medication morning and night, but it helps her get comfortable when she's sleeping. So but then she woke again 12:30, 1 o'clock, came into our bed, and that's kind of the routine. But some nights she'll sleep all through and wake up watching TV in the morning. We leave the TV on for her, so
Yeah.
she loves waking up and watching TV. So yeah, that was really the
Wow.
toughest one, and it's come so far that, like, even last night, it's like I feel great and rested, and was up. And Rory, our dog, I had to go with him once last night too. But yeah, I got woke up 4 or 5 times last night, and it's like, this is normal, right?
It
So
reminds me of Elf, where he's like, "Oh, I got a full 45 minutes of sleep."
right, right, for sure.
Like, too real. This is too real.
Mhm, right.
Man.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that just like that can break you so fast, mentally, physically, emotionally,
mhm.
all the ways. It just, when I don't sleep, I am not a fun person to be around. Yeah, it affects every aspect of my life. Oh my gosh.
Mhm. But
Um,
yeah, yeah, and I just think that I think we both kind of just gotten used to it, and it's just kind of, this is our routine. And like I said, even last night I woke up a bunch of times and just not tired, feel pretty good. And, you know, it's not really an issue anymore. I would
Yeah.
love to sleep through the whole night, but
Right.
it's
Do you
where
ever
we
have
are.
those times? This happens to me where like, you know, I don't know, the stars are aligned and like she'll sleep through the night and you sleep through the night and then you wake up and you feel like absolute garbage. Like that happens to me. I'm
Yes.
like, what was that? Laura's like, you slept for 8 hours. Like this is what people do. And I was like, I don't like it. I don't like anything to do with
Right.
that. Ugh. It's
For sure.
gross.
Yeah. It's it's frustrating. Like even when like kids go over to Amber's parents' house and stay the night, where it's like I slept worse. Like they were
Right.
both gone and I still didn't get a good night's sleep. I still like what is
Yeah.
happening?
So let's transition to you and Amber. What is it that you think, what do you guys do really well that makes you guys work so good together?
Uh, I think that I'll give Amber a lot of credit. I think that she kills it with uh, just having. I'm looking at her notes here with all these things we have to do. But like being on top of things and she just kind of delegating tasks to me and hey, this is what we have to do for the day and
Yeah.
these are the list of things we need to get done and um, you know I just think that we've also just found a routine and you know sometimes it can be um, a routine can be great but it can also be like you can get stuck and just to do the same thing for the last 10 days like
Yep.
you know so it is good and bad at times but I think
Yeah.
that we have found a routine that works and we both kind of trade off on things that you know, she likes to do I like to do that
Okay.
in order to get things done. I'm sure she would say it's maybe tipped a little bit her direction as far as who has more responsibility uh but yeah I think that that's we've kind of have we trade on a lot of things, but there are certain things that she just does, things that I do just to kind of get things done. So I think that helps a lot. And she, like I
Yeah.
said, she's killing it. So I can't give her enough credit for all the things that she does and all the time she steps up when I'm you know when I'm tired or when I've had a bad
Right.
day or um, you know I probably should tell her this more, but but
Oh,
yeah.
she'll hear it.
I, Right? Yep, exactly. So
Um, yeah, that's I just lost my train of thought because I just realized you have a mustache.
so yes, I
This is
it,
a
it's
professional
a
podcast right
it's
now.
like day
I
two of
know.
mustache. Amber,
Wow.
that was her idea. She has been telling me
What?
for a while to do it, and then I went to shave, and then I was like, I'll do a mustache this time, and then uh, showed it to her. She loved it, so I left it. I don't know
Yes.
if I like it yet. I don't,
Well, give it
I'm not
like
sold on
6 months and you'll love it.
it.
That-
I'm almost like I'm just looking over like at you on this side. I can see myself over there. It's not normal yet to me.
Sorry, that's so unprofessional, but it just like caught my eye.
No, you're good.
Oh man, how are you guys doing? We'll get right back on track. Woo. How are you guys doing with support? Do you feel like you have a good support for your family? Do you have people in the area? What's that like?
Yes. So Amber's parents moved over. Uh, they both our parents live in Muskegon. Amber's parents moved over to Sparta.
Okay.
Um, they're not too far away, and they help out a ton. Um, my my parents live in Muskegon, and my mom comes over. Uh, Now with both kids in school, she hasn't been coming over as much, but she'll come over and help a little bit too as needed.
Yeah.
And it's this is the first year that the kids have been in school both together, both full time. So
Wow.
that's been a huge. support there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough from a support aspect because we do have both of them available, but it's just not. There's times where it's like it would be so nice if we could just call a babysitter, right, and not have to always go to the same spot. But we can't really trust having just any babysitter. If
Yeah.
our neighbor girl wanted to help one time as like a summer or so ago, and Palmer wasn't too happy about that. I think she just wanted to be up playing around. So I think Lucas was playing and Palmer felt, I think, maybe a little bit left out. So that didn't work out. But yeah, that's the tough part with that is just getting support from that aspect. But school's been huge because then we can maybe ask a little more from both our parents when they're not watching the kids full day while we're working. So
right. So do you feel like you're making connections with some families at school, or do you have another place where you connect with families?
Yeah, we actually like last weekend had the first like play date evening with another family from school. So that went really well. And they have two little boys. One's in Lucas's class, one's in Palmer's class. So they had an awesome time. We had fun, kind of hanging with all of them. But then the kids went downstairs and we're watching a movie. And they both their boys and Lucas love hanging with Palmer, playing with Palmer. So they just they took care of her and watched her. And they actually,
that's awesome.
If they watch this, they also have a daughter over here. I don't know how I forgot her. She was here too, so she was helping out. But she's not in one of the kids' classes, so I forgot about her. But yeah, so we met them. It was a blast. It's the first like new family we've hung out with in a while. It was fun to do because we don't,
for sure.
We, like I said, we've been maybe stuck in some routine where this is what we do, and and we've kind of get so busy that we forget to still have fun with family and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And Palmer's aide that she started with at school, she has two now, because they rotate days. Miss Sue, she comes over every now and then too to hang out with us and hang out with Palmer, and she's been really great. We can't say enough nice things about school and the community that we've gotten involved with there. So
yeah, that's great. I love hearing that. So Palmer's in a wheelchair, and do you have a accessible van or car for her?
No. So we're still picking up the wheelchair and getting in the back. It barely fits in mine. And, yeah, Amber's been complaining for a little while about finding some
your
solution.
lower back's like, I hate you. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah. She wants to get like a thing for the hitch that has like the little ramp that you can put it on the back, and we've been looking at something like that. So I assume that we'll probably do something like that at some point, just to get it out of the car and easier to get it up in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been tough, and there's just a lot of things like her stander that's over here. It's got to be over here somewhere. We want like that thing's like 80 pounds and doesn't fit anywhere. Like how do we get that there and back? And like, what are we doing? So,
but
yeah, it's not easy lugging that stuff around. Some of it's impossible to move around.
It is. Yeah. We were doing therapy at one time, and the therapist is like, can you bring her stander in? I'm like, I can rent a trailer. Like, what do you expect? This thing is a monster.
Right.
That's crazy. So we kind of chatted a little bit last time we were together about some of the situations we find ourselves in with having a kid in a wheelchair and having to park in handicap spots. Tell us about some of the joys and the fun you've had with that.
It's been, luckily it's been good over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, it's at her early childhood special education program from the last couple years, or at her new school now. Just have had issues with parents in a hurry and seeing the handicap parking spots and just deciding there's no spot right here. I'm gonna park here real quick and I'll be in and out. And
Right.
we've never we've never had a situation where we didn't have a parking spot, but it doesn't matter, right? It just drives me crazy where it's like, especially on the ones where it's like, you see us here, like you know,
Right.
like I knew from a very young age not to park in these spots. Like, one, the tickets are very expensive. Two, like, it's just morally wrong. Like, I don't
there's
get
that.
I would drive home like talking to Amber on the phone, like, happened again, like, what is going on? So I kept my mouth shut for a really long time and just vented to Amber. And we tell the school a couple times and they tried to keep an eye on it, but I mean, are they going to have somebody just like watching for 45 minutes every day? Like,
and that pickup gets a little, that I'm assuming like every school pickup, it just gets wild.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, there's all that going on. We've mentioned it. We brought it up a couple times, and I go, there's one guy I see, he's a bunch of times. I've seen him do it. I've walked behind him a couple times and like, nope, not going to say it. So I can see him there, and I knocked on his window and I said, hey, do you have a placard to park in these spots? And he goes, no. And I said, well, you need one. And he goes, well, where do you suggest I go? I said, anywhere but here. Literally anywhere but these like 5 spots, like anywhere. And he lost it. He lost on me, and he called me, rude, arrogant, some other bad words I'm not going to say.
Yeah, you're the bad guy.
Yeah. And yeah, he wanted my name. He wanted all sorts of information from me. And I was like,
really?
I don't know what is happening. I'm very confused. I told him, like, hey, listen, I don't want to park here. I would prefer if I could walk with my daughter from back there, not to bring her wheelchair. Like, listen, I'm not parking here. Like, because he made it sound like, oh, you're just the police of these spots. You get to control them. No, I park here because we've got a lot of equipment. My daughter needs to get out. We need to get a chair out. This is what. And he lost it on me, and and then he eventually kind of walked away from his car. He walked up to get his daughter, and he came back around to like get in my face, and he's like, goodbye, Collin, and like got in my face to intimidate me. It's like, all right, guy, like I don't know what you're doing. I don't, and I was so questioning bizarre. My own standard. Yeah, I was like I called Amber. I actually had been texting her during the whole altercation, but on the drive home, I was just questioning my own sanity. Like, how is he spinning this on me? Like, how am I in the wrong here? There's no way.
Right. And why do I need to give him my information? I want his information.
Luckily, the school was awesome about it. I mean, they immediately were like, oh, he's wrong. We'll talk to him. Well, it sounded like he then battled back and wanted my information from them too, to call to apologize, but he wanted to have a talk with me about how I treated him. And I played it back a bunch of times in my head. I'm like, there's nothing said that was even remotely out of line. Like, I didn't snap at him. I just said park anywhere but here. And when he said, oh, I told him, I think the worst thing I said is I said, that's BS. And I didn't say it. I said BS.
Yeah, I said that.
Yes. So I was like, that's as far as I went. Other than that, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't get irritated. But like I said, I think it's just a school thing. Maybe, I don't know. We haven't come across it anywhere else. But
oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's possible. It's probable it happens other places, but we haven't come across it.
Yeah.
And there was I'm very appreciative of the school for stepping up and keeping an eye on it. And
Oh
they
my gosh.
we felt heard by them, and
That's great.
they understood. So
I'm really glad about that, because it seems like, from my experience, and I've had one specific altercation that, like, I I mean, I was upset, but somehow it had to have been God that I stayed calm, and I called him out. But it's crazy to me. I've never had an experience where I've tapped on a window and said, "Hey, you should put your placard up. You must have forgot, because it's not there." Or, I mean, if you don't have one, you gotta move. Never has anyone said, "Oh, you know what? Thanks for reminding me. I don't know why I'm here." Right? It's always like instant anger and
right,
just a battle. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm mad. You don't get to be mad. Laura was at Aldi one time, and there was a driver's training person parked in the handicap, and with like the logo on her shirt. She's just parking there. She's like, "Well, there was nowhere else to go." And Laura's like, "There's like 8 spots, like right there. They're just, you have to walk." And she like fought her on that. I'm like, this is what we're teaching. But I'm with you. I never ever thought, growing up or when I was learning to drive, like, yeah, I'll just park here. It's no big deal. Like, that never crossed my mind.
right. I mean, in my head, it's like if I park there, like they're gonna take my car from me. Like I will never get my car back. Like I don't. It just seemed like such a never a thought crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't quite get where people think they can do that, or
Right.
or like you said, never had somebody just been like, "Oh, my bad." I would be mortified if I like I don't know how I'd accidentally do it, but like if I was there,
Yeah.
somebody now, "Hey, do you have a placard to be here?" Oh my gosh, no, I'm so sorry. Like that should be the response. That should be the only response, and it doesn't seem to happen. So
It is such a, I'm not exaggerating, but every time we go out in public and, grocery shop, whatever, anywhere, there's always somebody in the wrong spot. And it is just like, and I'm sure it's like, okay, obviously we notice it more because we're
mhm.
trying to park there, but like, my kids are like, "Jad, just don't look over there. Just put your head down and walk." I'm like, "That's probably a good idea. I'm just gonna
Right.
not even gonna," because it's just, and then the other part is like, you never get the resolution that you feel like should happen. Like, I've
Mhm.
never had a good conversation. I've even went to the cops that were at a place one time, and they're like, "There's nothing we can do. It's private property." And I'm like, that does how does that even work? Why do you even have these spots? And so
Right.
it's never been just a positive thing. And it drives me crazy. I'm sure there's like lots of other dads that are like, and I was like you, like, do I say something? Like, if it got in, like, could I beat this guy up if he gets mad? Like, you have to weigh all that stuff in your head. Like, it's just, and then for us, we have our logo on the van. So yeah, I was like,
Mhm.
all these things. Oh man, it drives me bonkers. Woo!
Yeah, it's just something that shouldn't happen. I don't understand it, and yeah, it gets really,
Yeah.
really tough because as much as it's like I want to be an awesome advocate and always stand up for Palmer and
Yeah. Yeah.
people with disabilities, but it's at at times it's like you got to make. I'm very like non-confrontational, shy, stick to myself. It's like I keep getting in these situations where it's like, like, it was like a 3 week or 3 or 4 things in like a week and a half that happened in our family where it's, I need like, I keep getting like pulled into these things and I need to like stop, but I
Yeah.
also am right here, like
Right.
playing them back, like right in every single one of those. Like I'm not the bad guy. Somebody else is doing something that's inappropriate. And
Yeah.
it gets tough. Yeah. And it's like, how do you pick your battles? How do you, win? How do you get across the best getting the
Right.
like while not getting like provoking a fight from this
Yeah.
other person, or like,
No one wants
getting
a
your
fight.
message across. Right.
Yeah, I don't want to be on a video somewhere. I just want to say like, hey, it's not the right thing to do. All you have to do is move and really just say like one word that starts with S and ends in Ari and then go. Like that's it.
Right.
But
Hmm.
it is a crazy, if someone's listening right now and you have an awesome solution, I would love to hear it. Like
Right.
I am desperate for the best way to go about this because it drives me bonkers. I was with a guy and he's, he doesn't relate to having kids with disabilities, but he was like, people do that. Like he couldn't comprehend it. He's like, there's no way people just park there. He's like, I just, and I'm trying to explain to him, like, I'm giving him like time after time after time it's happened. He's like, no way. I'm like,
Right.
come on, this is a real thing. Gosh,
Hmm. Yeah.
it's
Everyone,
insane.
everyone I've talked to at Palmer School about that situation that happened is like, no way. Like, no, that's not possible. Like, yes, it
Bye,
is.
Colin.
Yeah, that guy right there.
Oh, oh yeah. Now it's great because now it's awkward every single time.
Right. Yeah.
Ah. All right. I've got one more question for sure. Unless you say something wild, then I'll ask you another one. But
Okay.
what are a couple of things that you've learned as a dad through all the things that you've gone through with really both your kids? Because I mean, we didn't really talk about Lucas 70 days in the NICU. That is while you have a child at home that has her own set of complications and medical needs. I mean, we didn't even that actually time out. Like, what was that like? That back and forth. I want to hear about that.
That was tough. Like having having Amber's parents and my parents help out was great. But I mean, there was a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of Amber going, me staying home, then
Right.
switching, then like because she had I'm trying to think. I ended up getting some time off for work, but yeah, we just
Okay.
kind of trading for the whole time. And
Jeez.
turns out it seems like if they would have done a few things different, he could have came home a little earlier. We kind of found that out after that maybe they had screwed something up a little bit. But
Okay.
with if they why'd they give him this, because that was making him throw up, or with
Oh yeah.
DStat or whatever it's called. But
Yeah.
I I may have screwed up what medical term that is, but yeah, that was very, very difficult. And NICU is not necessarily a place that's a lot of fun. You see a lot of
Well said.
premature babies, and families that are very packed in tightly. And a kid passed away right across. There's
Yeah.
two twins and it's just like, man, there's nobody really has any privacy here, and it's you
Yeah,
kind of feel
you're going through some of the hardest times as a family,
yeah,
surrounded by all these other people who are just in it. And
yeah,
yeah, not a lot of
kids fight.
privacy.
Right? Mhm. It
Man.
was it was very tough because and we felt guilty, where it's like, and we had felt guilty and then guilty about being guilty, and
Yeah.
like showing joy. It's like, oh, there he is, open his eyes or something, with other families that are struggling right there. And it's
Right.
so that was a very difficult time. I feel like I don't remember everything specifically about it, but I know it was so hard, and not being able to bring Palmer. I have a really
Oh man.
picture, um, us FaceTiming, and she's got this big smile on her face as she's seeing him. And
Yeah.
that was the great part. Is technology is awesome, being able
Right.
uh,
For
to
sure.
still FaceTime with our parents and everything, while we were there. Because yeah, 70 days without seeing him, getting to hold him, and it
That's
was
a
great. It was
long
great to
time.
get to bring him home. Hmm.
For sure, man. So, okay, what are a couple things you've learned as a dad? Because dang, you're like, you got some things underneath your belt. You're experienced. What are some things that you've learned or kind of grown in over the 6 years?
I would say, and it's probably, again, Amber's answers may be different, what she sees versus what I feel, but I would say patience.
Yeah.
I'm probably still got a lot to work on, but patience with, like I said, with being sleep deprived, battling through those first couple years where we were getting little to no sleep, and
Yeah.
she was waking up, and it's like you felt like, okay, I'm just gonna close my eyes. I got a few minutes to get some sleep, and then she'd wake up. Going through that and being frustrated, and you know, um, you know, just stressed. Battling through that. I feel like I'm a lot more patient now, and Palmer wakes up, or I try to get Palmer to sleep. It's, if she's not having the best night, she's not ready to go to bed. Hey, let's turn the TV on.
Yeah.
We'll lay here. I'll turn her over a couple times, or if I need to tap out, I can just go get Amber. A lot of times
Yeah.
it's weird how much that works. She just wants to sleep with the person that's not with her
Yeah.
at the time. But I would say I think that's been number one for me. I'm way more patient now, with everything, and because again, things just get easier and easier as they go along. Different obstacles
Yeah.
come in place that may change that. It's not a straight line, but
Right.
the surgery was a big one that changed things
Yeah.
up, and how she slept and how
Absolutely.
things were going. But yeah, just being patient, and allowing her to grow and talk to us when if she's crying. Most of the time she's for a reason. She's not happy for a reason, and then
Yeah.
she may not be able to physically use words to tell us, but trying to listen to her as much as we can. And yeah, I don't know if that's the best answer, but I think I'm a lot more patient now than I was
No, I think that's great.
5, 6 years ago.
That's like a brutal skill, and you're
Mhm.
to get better at that is awesome. I feel like I'm like trending the opposite way.
Yeah.
But
My
no, that's
answer for
great.
Lucas might be a little different as far as patience goes. With Palmer, it's different.
Yeah,
Different parenting techniques. Lucas
for
knows how to
sure.
push my buttons too, and Amber's, but it's we he's on a different plan.
Right,
So
right. What do you do to keep your mental game strong? You have any hobbies or activities you do?
one thing that's I think been really good for me the past year or so, is I got back into playing hockey. It started with Palmer's hockey team, getting out there and skating with her. She
Yeah,
plays in her wheelchair, and it's really cool for the
that's so
West
great.
Michigan Special Hockey Association.
We got to get
So
out
she
and
does
see a
that on
game.
Sundays. Yeah, it's really cool. And so after doing that, the coach of that team got me into this drop-in on really early in the week. And from there, started playing in men's leagues. And so I have 2 or 3 teams that I play with um, on a weekly basis, depending on when I can make it, or how things are
Yeah,
going. But that's been, I think, massive for me. Just to have something that I love doing, that I care about. I have fun. I'm super competitive, so um,
yes.
that was that's I'd say over the last year, that's been from a physical, mental health. Uh, that's really it for me, and I I'm so happy that I got back into it.
No, that's great. I love that you have that
Mhm.
that go-to. And now that you have a mustache, your game's probably gonna get better.
Yep, for
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah,
the
just
puck
intimidation
handling.
factor.
Yeah, it can't get worse. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Uh, well, Colin, I really appreciate you giving me some time to ask some questions. I love hearing your story. You have such a great family, and I'm glad that we are friends and getting to know each other more and more. So thanks so much for being on
For sure.
Disabled Expectations. You're crushing it. You guys are doing great. Really appreciate
Appreciate it. Yeah.
all the things you shared.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you for having me on.